Welcome. If you're one of the artists who elected to ink by hand, not digitally, if you're inking your original line art by hand, say using artist pens, markers, and then scanning or taking a high-res photo, this video is for you. So what you do going forward is grabbing a flatbed scanner or a phone and then taking your drawing like so, fully inked, resting it face down, then scanning it. And it's not as simple as just clicking scan. What you're going to want to make certain that you do is adjust the settings to 300 DPI. You want industry standard resolution. Oftentimes the default will be 150 or 75 on our low end. You got to make certain it's at least 300, click OK, then scan. Again, you want high resolution images. You're shrinking this down. But as a graphic designer, it's always wise to start larger and end smaller because the reverse is not only more difficult, in some cases it's near impossible. If you start with a small thumbnail or tiny image with low resolution and try to blow it up, it's going to get hazy. But if you start big and move it down, you give yourself the option because shrinking it won't lose the clarity you need. Okay, so that's the first thing you'll do. When you then scan it, you save it at that high resolution, and then you can open it up, ready to go. All right. So on the other hand, if you're using a phone, you're going to want to make certain that when you take that photograph, your image is flat and your camera flush with it. You don't want it at an angle, and you don't want it to be lacking solid lighting, all right? You don't want any shadows cast on it. Feel free to take it to a window where it's well lit, and then take a photograph where your phone is perfectly parallel with it, or a camera if you've got it. Next, once you've uploaded those high-res images, and again, even with the camera phone, you're gonna wanna make certain it's set to at least 300. Big image, right? You're gonna open it up in Photoshop, or Photopea, and then you need to clean it. So save it first right out the gate with this original one. Then open up that file and go into Image, Adjustments, and Levels. Here, you're going to make certain that you pull the black bar to darken your inking, and the white box here, pulling it inward to brighten the paper. That way you get no grays or say inconsistent black lines, but you don't want to go too far in any one direction. Zoom in on your image and look closely at the lines when you make these changes. Again, adjustments and levels, because if you go too far black, you'll thicken your lines and make them more pixelated. If you go too far with the white, you'll thin them out and gray them. So you just want to push it enough to whiten your paper and darken your lines without adding or subtracting from their width. Then you'll eyedrop the background for that white so that you can take a paintbrush and go in and clean up the white. Now, it's important that you don't erase, because if you do that, you're getting rid of paper and part of the design. You don't want to expose transparency behind it. You just want to clean it up to get rid of any smearing, unwanted pencil lines that are still visible. And then the reverse is true too. When you finish adding areas that could use a little more white, or say erasing black lines that went askew or didn't look as clean as you wanted, like say here on my B, maybe I'm gonna grab my paintbrush, bring the radius down, and just do some small surgical cleaning. You wanna get crisp line work before the next phase. But you can also take your eyedropper and grab the black and then go in and strengthen lines too, or darken them if you feel you could use it like so. Try to use a steady hand, get the crisp lines you want, and then save that as a separate file. You're gonna want this really nice, pristine, clean file to work with while still preserving the original in case you make mistakes and need to revisit it, okay? Next, we're going to learn what we do with this line art and this clean composition. Okay? So check out part 2 and let's go from there. Thanks.